Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 163 of Fans of Power. I'm Joe Amato. I'm here with my partner in crime, Tyler T. Rex Baker, and Nasty Nate Kennedy. And what's going on, guys?
Well, why am I not a partner in crime?
Oh, shit. You know, I think I'm going to have to change that. I'm going to have to start saying my partners in crime. Yeah, I never thought of that. I mean,
no,
basically,
right.
yeah, guys.
No, it's fine. It's fine. You can cast me out. It's totally fine.
Yeah, and I got to think of a better nickname for you, too. But first, let me say, before we get into
we called
stuff,
Nathan back in high school. He deemed himself Nasty Nate after watching Half Baked.
well, then maybe, I don't know. We'll see if I keep that or if I give him something else. But before we get started, I did want to say hello to everybody that's
kind of like ignored that, what I just said. He's like,
I want to be Boopy too or something. Give me one of those neighborhood nicknames, Joe.
Or Snuggles.
All right, I might get you one because that's it, Tyler. I think he's probably thinking, well, Joe's got to give me one of his names. So yeah, I'll think of something for you next week.
Well, T-Rex wasn't that original to begin with anyway. You know, it's not like
Oh man, now he's disregarding. I thought it was cool,
no,
man.
I'm just saying the name's fine, but you actually like it's got to be like this really well thought out name. And
I mean,
not well thought, but it's got to be dubbed. He's got to be dubbed.
Suggested do the Mr. Kennedy thing for me. Maybe that would.
I didn't want to rip off wrestling, but first, let me just say hello to everybody that's been in the chat room before we started. We got Delva78, Febmon, Zentron. I'm scrolling down. Oh, we got the dogs out. The dogs are out. All right. I'm still scrolling down. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody, so I'm sorry about that. So I'm still scrolling. Nathan might know somebody if I did miss anybody. Grimbot's here. Zen Brown is here. I'm going a little down more. Somebody new. Dave Dynasty, thank you for joining us. And I just want to see. Adam Gabbert and JSP. Jason Jones. And now I got everybody. Okay, good. I don't think I missed a single person. So before we started, one of the people here in the chat room did send you guys something. So I figured you can acknowledge who it is and show what he got you guys.
Tyler's got to actually take his out of the envelope. So I guess I opened mine on Friday. Sorry about that, Delvis. But Delvis78 was awesome enough to draw his own vision of us. And here's mine. There's of course, the pony that's in the background right here is in the picture. There's me cursing and say, I'm gonna blame it on the alcohol. Or I was gonna say I was drunk because for those of you that don't know, on the Beyond Retro channel, I've started to live stream video games. I did Donkey Kong Country. Joe was giving me crap the entire time, and I guess he just broke me. I died a lot on levels, and I'm like, you know what, this is it, and I shut the stream off. And also, I don't know if this was intentional, but this is a Ham's Beer shirt, and I don't know if I ever wore that on Beyond Retro or anything at all, but I actually do own that shirt, so thank you.
That's cool.
I still need to get a frame for it, but I intend on doing that.
That is awesome, and I can't wait to see Tyler's. And also, Final Fury Comic, thank you for joining us. New to the chat room. So now we got to see what Tyler is. He's doing a live unenveloping, huh?
Yeah, this is completely unopened. I have no idea what's in here. So we'll get a live response here.
Let's see if it's a gigantic ego head or something like everybody always says. Let's see if it's a really big ego caricature or something.
All right, you know what? I'm going to let you guys see it first before I actually look at it. We'll do something a little different here.
Okay.
You got to lift up and to your left. There we go. And then just kind of say something.
All right. I'm talking here. That's
it's exactly what you would want.
You're going to like it.
Yeah. He-Man with the crew cut here. Yeah.
That's genius. It looks like that's a tank top and not a harness. That's awesome. A tank top shirt that looks like a harness.
Yeah. It does look like a tank top. Yeah, he did a good job.
Yeah, you got to show that again and say something. Yeah. That's kind of cool.
Let's see here. Just
yeah.
You guys see it all right there?
It's good stuff. I still think it would have been funny if the head would have just been like taking over the rest of the paper.
Yeah, kind of surprised that didn't happen there.
Or, you know,
that's
it's like
awesome.
Your head is detached from your body because it's like a balloon. It just got so big that it just floated.
It just has a life of its own, just kind of floats around. Yeah. Thank you very much, Dale.
That's cool. Yeah, that's awesome, man. They'll both look awesome in a frame. So there's a quick little story behind that, too, if you want to hear it.
No, not
Delvis,
really, but...
He's like, nah, forget it. He was like, let's move on to let's talk about the character spotlight. No. Delvis sent me the picture of Tyler first, and he showed me that in a black and white. And what he did was he just he took a picture of a black and white.
Oh,
Cool.
we're getting there. That mic is about to break on you. I feel like.
God dang it! All right, hold on. Now I'm going to hold it so it doesn't do anything. Bam! It's not rubbing nothing. You can hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you now. But it was starting to go, and I was like, I knew it. I called it.
And I know why it was. It was touching my laptop, and when I was moving, it was rubbing it. Okay.
Gotcha. All right.
So let me move back. Okay. So he sent me that picture of Tyler, and it was just a picture he took. Then I took that picture, and I colored it in, and I said, "What do you think of this?" He's like, "Oh man, that's awesome." And I was like, "Well, you know what you should do? I said, send it to him." And he was like, "What? You want me to email?" I was like, "No, just send him a physical copy or something. That'd be kind of cool." And he said, "Well, I don't have a scanner or a printer or nothing." I said, "Okay, well then, how about you take another good head-on straight picture, and I'll do some cool photoshopping," because I wasn't quite sure like how he wanted the hair and stuff. So I altered the hair. Altered the hair, colored it, heightened it in, and I printed that out and I sent it to Tyler. But it's from Delvis. Now also from Nathan, I added the hams because I went through all your photos I stalked you on Facebook. And I found a picture where you were wearing a ham shirt. And I was like, this is perfect. He already put in the text about you being drunk.
I'm officially creeped out now. I knew that the mob hit's coming, isn't it? It's right around the corner. Yeah,
exactly. So since you were talking about being drunk during that stream, I was like, well, this is a beer shirt. So I did that, modified some stuff, altered it, colored it, printed out, and sent that to you too. So, and then he was like, well, Joey, he was like, man, you did all the work. I was like, Delvis, I didn't do nothing. I said, you're the one that drew the picture. I said, I just colored it. I said, any idiot like me can color a picture. But just to let you know, yes, I colored, I altered, and I sent them both to you. So he did amazing work, and I just had to color them because I thought it was just fun to do. What are you looking at now? You trying to find an address or my handwriting? I put his address. It is from his actual address.
Yeah, you know what? Now that I see the postage paid here, it does have parts unknown written on here.
There you go.
I'll be damned. So now I know what your handwriting looks like.
It's bad, isn't it?
You can hire someone to
I'm going to have to turn it into the FBI at some point because they're going to be like, yeah, he was just, sending all these letters to people before he sent out the mob hits. And I'll be like, I got your match right here.
Yeah, because believe me, I'm sure he would have, if he could have printed, I'm sure he would have printed them too. But I just got some cool stock and I printed them out and I thought they would look cool framed in case he was just going to email them to you or however he wanted to do. I was like, well, I'll do that. I'll color it. I'll print it. And so there you go.
Well, Joe, I appreciate you doing that and the collaborative effort put into this and making it happen.
Now, Joe, did you call in favors at the post office here or did you use money for this?
Well,
I used money, but
Well,
yeah, exactly. I used money, but since it was just one of those padded envelopes, it was kind of cheap, so it didn't cost me really anything. So there you go. How about that?
The price is on there.
All right.
Yeah, and someone else off Edmond makes a good point. Your fingerprints on here too. So
you guys got me now. Yeah, definitely. You got me. And even what else was that? They were making fun of my technology. And Delvis said Joe was much nicer. He said he was going to color you, Nathan, to look more like Shaggy if you look at the outfit. So I guess he had Shaggy from Scooby-Doo in mind.
I may as well embrace that. I know I got the look. It makes sense.
You do, and I want to show something to somebody else that hopefully is watching, possibly. But I found something in the... Hold on. I know my microphone might rub something, but... I was going to show my carded Anti-Eternia Man-at-Arms that I made for him. So I did the card. I made the card. The figure's got a cool paint scheme. I know it's probably kind of reflecting with Insanity now. I know you probably can't see it that well, but did that and then gave it like a slightly 8-card back design to where I added Anti-Eternia Man-at-Arms, also with Man-at-Arms on the back. But I told him, I said, I'm going to show you a carded figure that I made for you live. I'll do that right here on Fans of Power. So there. And it's like you said, if I want to show a custom one, so I'll do for a customer, I'll do that. So figured I'd show it.
I mean, I'm still all for the idea of having own little separate videos for you to kind of take more time and maybe talk a little more about your process.
Yeah, I'm not going to whore myself that bad. But I also want to say hello to Chris Pawson.
He's a cheap whore.
Yeah, I'm a cheap whore. Chris Paulson in the chat room. Thank you for joining us. But I also want to acknowledge one other person, somebody that was on Facebook. I posted, I redid and altered and colored one of those maze games from or whatever board games from one of the coloring books of Masters of the Universe. There was one I did before. I did a new one. I posted it in some of the groups, and then somebody new actually commented. His name is Darren Bloodworth. He said, "Hi Joe, just wanted to say thank you for all the things you do in the Masters of the Universe wise." He said, "You're a legend and you make me laugh all the time. I live in the UK, so I never get to see the Fans of Power podcast live, but I always watch it the next day. It's fantastic, and it's the one thing I look forward to every week. So once again, a massive thank you." And I told myself I was going to shout out, and it's pretty cool that, he enjoys listening to us, do our discussions every week. So
yeah, that still amazes me that people just actually look forward to us just talking about random things. I'm saying more in regards probably to like Beyond Retro and stuff like that. But yeah, it's still strange to me. Especially
we're not a professional setup here. We're just three guys sitting in, various dwellings, and that's really about it. So for people to be willing to devote their personal time to sitting down Sunday nights or sometime during the week to listen to three guys talk about He-Man, just talking, like we don't have special effects or anything like that, and no transitions, just it does put things in perspective. It's
no editing flattering. And yeah, exactly. Horrible video quality that you see from me. But another thing, which is a little bit better if you'd look, and I do have to watch this microphone when I rub it, but my tablet finally took a dump, my old tablet. And, of course, I let Nathan... Face. Yeah, basically all over my face. But, yeah, and see, I'm going to my avatar. That's how bad it is. Sometimes I still go to that, and I'm thinking it's just the internet quality, but still...
I really think it's your internet now.
It is. My internet is it's just as bad as everything else I have. But at least the visual quality, even though I'm still jerky here, it's still a little bit better. But I told Tyler and Nathan, I said, I'm going to have to go to my laptop for this episode coming up here, I said, because my old tablet's done. And then I was talking with Nathan. I'm giving him a hard time about his video game play, saying how bad he was. And then he's like, "Hey, you might want to check your mailbox."
No, you were like, "Hey, when you doing Batman Returns? What time? I need to know. Is it gonna be tonight? What time are you getting off work? Are you gonna have time to do this?" I'm like, "Joe, I'm probably not gonna get home until like 1 a.m. I don't think it's happening tonight." "Well, when you gonna do it, man? Just let me know." I'm like, "I'll let you know if you go check your mail."
There, okay, so that's how. So I go to the mail, and he's been rambling about, "I'm going to get you some headphones," and I told him, "Don't do that." So I go, here's a mailbox. In the mailbox, here's a big box. So I then left him a voice message live. I'm like, oh, here we go. So I ripped open the box, expecting headphones, and this sucker bought me a tablet, and it pissed me off. And he could tell my voice went from being angry, but then saying thanks, because I was like, these things ain't cheap. But Nathan you could see last week, he has a joy. He loves doing this kind of stuff. He did it for Tyler with that Viper Tower. And I told him thank you, but I hate the thought of that. But at least I do have a new tablet. The quality is a little bit better. And it's awesome to have something that's not cracked beyond belief to where I can't really see what's going on. And I do appreciate it. He said, "Well, Joe, if anything, it's a betterment for the show. Hopefully things will look better and everything." So I do appreciate it, Nathan. Just glad you didn't have to do that.
You're welcome. I don't know what else to say. Like, it's not, I don't know. I wanted to do that for you. It's Christmas time, and earbuds will be in the mail, bud.
Now, see, and then he's going to do that crap, so don't do that. And I also want to say hello real quick. Stagnatar, Chris Owens, and Jason Jones also joined us in the chat room. But see, and I hope he really isn't sending headphones as well. Oh, wait, what's that? Imitational. So, okay, well, there we go. We got somebody new. Imitational said, "There's more UKers than you think." Says, "We're only here to see Joe flip his laptop, though." Well, yeah, I guess that happens at times when my tablet was falling. And even with my new stand, it's a $1 stand from the Dollar Tree. I hope it doesn't knock this over because I don't want this tablet falling. So how about that for a rant? Tyler's like, "Jesus, Joe, take a breath."
Well, I was going to just say, like, this is a really good turnout. We're 2 days away from Christmas. I figured people would just be out, like, last minute shopping at different time zones or whatever. Some of you guys, it's already Christmas Eve. So, wow, it's a good turnout for this.
It may flop when we're done, though, where we get maybe 50 views, and that's pretty much it. But
hogwash. It's going to be fine.
We always have issues with Christmas episodes. Doesn't matter what we're doing, though. And we've had James Etok on before Christmas. We've had commentary for the Christmas special. We've had commentary for Ice Age Comics, and people are like, "Where's the new toys at, man?" And
Well, speaking of new toys, Joe, You got any news? I know you finally got around and made out with those Hot Topic employees and got yourself the loyal
Free
subjects.
guitar pick.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it was yeah, I had to do that just to hold on there. Okay.
It looks like a bum that's just hanging over his head.
Hold on a second.
Where's the dumpster?
Like Joe crawls into his cardboard box and hey there, Tim. Yeah, that's how Joe should make an entrance on the podcast. He crawls out of a cardboard box like Damon Wayans in The Living Color.
Like Anton Jackson, yeah. Exactly, with the pickle in it. Oh,
yeah, with the pickle in it. And Joe's got like his bag of like gizzards and just what a great entrance Joe would have,
It wouldn't surprise me doing something. But
you said they personally called you and they're like
they personally called me, which is awesome because the thing is, usually a lot of these stores don't call. I mean, I think it's just it's how you talk with people and if they're going to be cool about it. But
I think there was a little more to it. I bet they're like, hey, that sexy guy's wanting his figures. If we give him a call and tell him they're in, he'll show up and he'll be here within the hour.
Well, they are very nice at that Hot Topic. I mean, they're very nice. But
so modest.
So I got a message. Yeah, so they called and said they got them in. I went in and with their buy one get one free and some hot cash from relatives. It made them all almost like nothing. I got everything for like under $10. What one hell of a steal. So that's something Joe can afford. But it's not a super chase, but I did get that Zodak chase. And he's in a purple outfit. I was like, I still don't understand this purple. I was like, what canon is this supposed to be from? He was never in purple. And I think me and Tyler have seen enough stuff to I don't get it. But it's still cool. It's a chase one, so I got a chase. And so they're out. They're at their hot topics now. Those things are selling out super quick wherever they come. They're also different, though. For those who are super collectors, they added knee joints now, so it gives them a little extra height. But also, it looks like even their chests are slightly slimmer. And with these figures, their heads look slightly smaller. So some of the people who, like something that all looks like it fits in, just like with classics. Everything's classics. For those who are hoping all the lowest subjects will stay the same, this new wave is different. But it's still cool. It doesn't mean they're crap, but yeah. So there. I got a Chase Zodak. I thought it was kind of cool. I was like, well, I might even have to sell it, though, because I don't know what they run for on eBay, but we'll see. But,
here's the thing, Joe. Like, if you sell that on eBay, if you can put it back in its box and if you can sign it, then obviously it's
no, we won't be doing anything like that. Also,
it's going to be like the Honus Wagner baseball card. One of a kind, two in the world, maybe. Millions of dollars.
Well, the other thing I did want to mention, they're now... Okay, they're window boxed, meaning you could see almost all of them, but there's the dark tinted ones that doesn't guarantee you're going to get a chase figure. You could also, just like I did, open up and you just have Battle Armor He-Man, Battle Armor Skeletor. And so, yeah, and the Club 28, I think, is Wondar and Orko. And for some reason, Orko has evil eyes, his O is gone, and underneath as the description of Orko, they called him Snoob. And I was like, well, he sure the hell don't look like Snoob. Tyler and I, we know, and most people here know what Snoob looks like, but I guess that's their way of selling an evil-looking variant, because it looks just like Orko, just no O and
that's
evil
lame.
eyes. But, yeah, it's like Snoob is quite different, but other stores will start getting these, and you will have an Orko with an O. You'll probably have a Zodak with the red armor. It's just each chain will have its own kind of variant color. So just want to bring that up for anybody who does collect these or anything. And even Grimbot's trying to figure it out. He's like, he said, I never saw a purple Zodak. He said, maybe a Brazilian comic or just, hell, maybe just a variant just to sell. You know how things go like that with just weird colored variants.
Yeah, I don't know why companies want to do things like that almost put it in a spot of, well, who would want it? Yeah, but it's rare, so people are going to want it, right? Well, how rare is that Zodak looking to be exactly?
Well, he's part of, you know how some are like, what is it, like 2 and 12 or this and that? I don't know if he's like 1 and 48. King Randor from that run, I think, is 1 in 96. I think okay. 1 in 96. So you got some chases, and of course the gold Orko, meaning only one from this entire run of all Hot Topics. If there's going to be only one golden Orko, and of course if that goes on eBay, that'll probably go for 1,000 or 2,000. I think that's what some of those other golds did, because they're it's like the golden ticket from Willy Wonka.
Somehow I imagine you'll like stumble across it. You'll be the one to get it because
Wouldn't that be some stuff?
Well, I went to Hot Topic today just out of curiosity to see if they had anything. They had nothing. I didn't ask either. There might be something in the back, but the section that they put all that stuff in was just packed full of things that honestly I don't think people are going to buy. So maybe once they discount all that stuff, they'll put those on the shelf. But I'll keep checking.
Okay. I'll pass it to Tyler. I don't know if Tyler had anything to say or when we start getting into some of the other topics.
No.
He's like, no, that's it.
I have nothing to say on loyal subjects. I'm not forking over the cash or the figures. I just don't. I don't get excited over that stuff.
Because Joe, you said those at Hot Topic were what, $14.99?
Yeah,
$14.99. Yeah, they're
nope.
Yeah, it's kind of tough.
I don't care.
But at least to see what you get. Like I said,
it's just, dude. I mean, another $15, you can get a classics figure for that price. I just felt like that's just Plus, I got too much little stuff.
The regular
all over
Orko.
The place anyway.
I just want the regular Orko because he looks like he's going to be really good in scale, slightly different look. And for those who didn't get the Orko for classics, that's really up there on eBay. When these pop up at other stores as Orko and you could see the Orko, yeah, you can't beat it for $14.99.
Yeah,
but go ahead.
But it's still kind of. I'm there with Tyler on it, unless
it just feels like a middle finger to fans. It's like, God. Next thing you know, they become out like little chibi size, little pocket size, figures about this big, and they want you to pay $20 because like they're rare, but you only get 2 in a pack, and they're wrapped up, and I don't know. I just feel like these little figurine gimmicks are just getting out of hand instead of giving us quality stuff to put on the shelf. I just kind of feel like everything becomes a lot old trinket size, and it kind of comes off like, why can't we get something, in terms, it doesn't have to be exactly something like this, but something a little bit more bang for your buck if you want to slap He-Man's face on stuff, I just, I don't know. Am I feel like pissing on your parade here, Joe?
No, not at all. I was just mentioning it for anybody out there that does want to get them. There's a lot of people that like the Loyal Subjects figures, so I'm letting them know what's out, where they can get them.
I probably just need to shut up then. If we talk about all the current toys so much, I'm like, oh,
He's like, yeah. But go ahead. You can go into one of our topics, Tyler, if you want to either do Granamyr or talk about Danger and Castle Grayskull. But go into what you want first. Oh wait, and real quick, hello to Gene Starwin. Thank you for joining us in the chat room. But go ahead.
Joe, I'm talking here. Are you done?
He's like, huh? What? He's like, don't acknowledge those people in the chat room. Let me finish. Sure? I guess. Go ahead. I'll let you go.
All right. I'll say Granamyr because that was my suggestion. Joe wanted to do Danger at Castle Grayskull, so we'll start with my discussion there. And I tried to get Joe to do commentary on Dragon's Gift. He's like, well, we've already talked about that like 3 years ago when Bozone was on here, and like, Joe, that's like 3 years ago. Yeah, but it's 3 years ago, man. I'm like, I don't know why he insists on neglecting the Dragon's Gift commentary. I don't know why he insists on bouncing around a lot of commentaries I suggest. But then he goes back and says, we haven't done Vintage Skeletor, right? Yes, Joe. We've talked about that. Are you sure? Yes. What about Montana? Yes, Joe. We talked about that too. Are you sure?
Hey, what Goonies? We did that one, right? I'm like, yeah, we did that one. You suggested it, but then you weren't there.
Are you sure?
I guess, yeah, probably why I forgot because I wasn't there. But I guess that's no excuse. I just have a horrible memory.
Joe,
I remember things from the past, but not what.
It's all right. My memory is terrible too.
Yeah,
that's why
I forget what I did last week. Yeah.
But yes, my suggestion was to good God, I can't even talk now. Discuss Granamyr and a character bio, because we've always fixated on like the main roster of characters, and I think we did a character discussion on Shakoti, that flopped. But
you're just all worried about the flops now
because it pisses me off. Where it's just like I just want to call people out. Like, are people not tuning in for the the in-depth discussions that we got here tonight? It's just like all right. I just like I feel like this could be a good episode.
Oh, you're just all hung up on it now, and you're just just thinking about it too much.
Yeah, I need to just shut the hell up here.
Yeah, probably.
All right, yes, Granamyr is our character discussion here tonight because I think that the character is universally beloved altogether from mini comic to action figure to definitely cartoon, because that's where he's most notably known from. But I just felt that the character warrants a full in-depth discussion, because he's definitely a much more he's not a cliche type character. There's more to the character than a lot of He-Man characters are given. Not to say that there's not fun personalities, but Granamyr, from the first time you see him in Dragon's Gift, is definitely written more differently than any Filmation style character, or a character that's not part of the main roster of heroes and villains. And that's all due to like Larry DeTillier writing that. And it's one of those kind of questions too, like that was a character that Larry DeTillier created, yet shows up in one of the mini comics. And we can't seem to quite bridge the gap in between episodes that were done for Filmation and then things that were also turned into mini comics that were also episodes as well too. So I'd be curious to know who at Mattel got a hold of the story. Let's make this a mini comic because they're making it to an episode. It's one of those things I've always been fascinated by, but no one seems to have an answer for that. Larry Houston, who worked on the books, wasn't aware that the books he worked on were also episodes. And Robbie London, I don't think he was really aware as well, because he did Double-Edged Sword. I don't think he was aware it was a mini comic, which was illustrated by Larry Houston. This is all connected, but nobody knows how. But I love the pompous attitude of Granamyr. I really didn't pick up on that as a kid until I started rewatching it as a young adult when I was in high school, and really started noticing the writing that was given to Granamyr. And his and James E. Talk's review of it on the old He-Man She-Ra review website, he put in a lot of details of stuff that I did not notice that are in the episode, especially of Granamyr, like being so dismissive of Skeletor's magic, of Man-at-Arms being turned into crystal. Like that was something that I'm like, oh wow, I never had caught that detail about Granamyr's personality, being so dismissive of something that Skeletor had done. Like, I don't know who this guy is, but whatever he did, it's poor magic at best. Like that attention to detail like gives you a lot more depth to this character of what he thinks of the outside world, and that at one point he genuinely liked humans and would do things for them without getting anything in return, and say, you know what, I've had enough of humans. And one brief time of dialogue that he gives, you just get a great sense of who this character is. Something you don't get a whole lot of in children's animation, and a lot of the episodes as well. I'm finished now.
Oh, there. He gave a good introduction. Now he's like, hey, no, I'm finished. And he takes off the earbuds and he leaves.
You just need to honestly just start referring to yourself in third person. Just be like The Rock. You're idol.
Oh, no, I'm not going down that path, man. No.
I am finished now. No, Joe, I'm not going to say anything yet, because Joe, I think you should go ahead and say what you want to, and then I'll go ahead and hop in with my thoughts.
Granamyr is somebody that when I first seen him, I mean, it was a frightening character to witness when I seen him in the cartoon. And then he was also a character that just seemed so angry. And like Tyler said, very arrogant, and how he just dismissed people. Even like when Man-at-Arms, showed up, and how he kind of didn't even want, he would like invite He-Man, but I don't remember inviting you, or however he said. I know Tyler would know it word for word, but he didn't even appreciate. What was that, like, bad excuse for bad manners, or what did he say? What was that line he said to Man-at-Arms?
Yeah, he said, "This is my friend Man-at-Arms. He wanted to thank you in person." And he's like, "Poor excuse for bad manners." Like, but I do not remember inviting you. And then points his finger and says, "Poor excuse for bad manners." But then when
Man-at-Arms is like nice about it, and Granamyr's like, "All right, well, you speak pretty well."
Yeah, because you're kissing my ass right now, so you know what, you may stay.
But you're just hearing how old he is, like 10,000 years old. And like I said, I loved when we also still got more about him. When he finally appeared and had, we had his 4 episodes in He-Man, but then in She-Ra had Dark Smoke and Fire. So it was cool to see that She-Ra gets thrown into the past, 1,000 years into the past of Eternia, and meets Granamyr and, confronts him and talks to him. He has no recollection of who she is. And then he does like the thing where he like reads her mind and then realizes, okay, now I know everything, but also you're 1,000 years in the past. But we get to see a little before, I guess, that whole war started and the real hate of humans, started. The one thing you always wanted to see was when finally Granamyr, could showcase his powers. Because I always wanted to see a good fight. And was it Shadow Wing he had that great fight with, if I'm not mistaken? As much as it could be?
Yeah, and I really wish they had done more with Shadow Wing and just colored them black instead of just using the cliche green. Even though their dragon designs look great, I just wish they'd give them a different color to kind of live up to the name Shadow Wing.
Because that was a frightening character, too. When Shadow Wing showed up to see the amount of things he did, turning somebody into a frog, turning Torm into a rock, turning the one guy into a crystal, deflecting things, shooting out electricity. I was like, he was doing a lot, but also to see how, Granamyr would, deflect back that, shooting out fire. I was like, oh, when that fight happened, when he busted out, when He-Man slammed the Wind Raider into there, and Granamyr rose up, and you're like, oh, shoot, here we go. It's on now. You're like, here comes a fight. And it was cool to see. And then, of course, he banished him away. And Granamyr was somebody that, I don't think I would have wanted too much in the cartoon, meaning it would have kind of took away that big, impactful moment each time we got to see him. Like those very few times you've seen him, it was special. But if it was too much, it kind of would almost deflate the meaning and purpose of this such an imposing character. So, yeah, you could almost say, yeah, would I like more Granamyr? I guess maybe, but too much can spoil a good thing. And I think those limited appearances were really well done.
Yeah, you got to leave them wanting more.
Yeah.
I think, honestly, I feel like Granamyr is probably the best thing to come from the classics line, because that immediately when I would look at Tyler's collection, that's sort of where my eyes went, because obviously he's huge. I was like, yeah, it's like holding a little baby in your arms. And I actually got the PowerCon exclusive green Granamyr on eBay, so that should be showing up here with after Christmas, but I think before the new year. But yeah, it's just the look of that figure, and just the size and the scale is fantastic. But and also into the filmation part of it, I kind of relate to him a lot, because I don't really like a lot of people. Period. Like I see the worst in a lot of people. I'm just like, yeah, most humans just seem kind of whatever. But I think one of my favorite lines out of it was when they're thanking him, and he's kind of like, if you want to thank me, just leave me alone and let me sleep, more or less. And I was just like, man, kind of relate to him a little bit. But I like how dismissive he is of all the other magics. Like with Orko, he's kind of like, well, this is real magic, what I'm doing. It's cool. I like that he is that arrogant, and like Joe said, it's good that he only has those 4 appearances in He-Man and the one in She-Ra, because I think anything more than that would start to spoil the character. I am done speaking.
It's everybody's like, now they take the turn, and I am done, and I am done, and we are done. Goodbye. Boom. Turn off. The podcast is over. But
I was always because you guys just sat there like, I'm done.
Well, usually Joe's pretty good about just taking the reins and saying what he wants to say.
It's me, I ramble like 100 miles an hour, but I never want to feel like I would cut you off now, because as you guys can see, Nathan kind of is basically now part of the show. It's not just a bit part here and there, like he's a bit character.
I mean, there will be some times where I won't be on the show.
There might be a part where something you don't want to discuss. I can understand that. Yeah. So now it's different, because I do have to hold. It's I don't want to feel like I'd run over Nathan if I'd say something. It's like me and Tyler. I know we'll go back and forth and just rib each other back and forth or say something.
You do it to me all the time on all the other shows. Why not this one, Joe?
Well, I don't want to insult you too bad. I mean, we know your gameplay did suck and all those, but I did want to show something.
Let me just throw that out there real quick. You thought you had Batman Returns beat, huh? You were wrong.
Yeah, that was great. Hold on, I'm grabbing something too.
The good thing, honestly, about becoming more involved with this show is just being as a casual fan, more or less. It's kind of helping me grow into something more than that, and it's made me want more, which is why I'm getting the PowerCon Granamyr. It's why I made Axel's artwork, like the background on my phone on the lock screen. I don't know. I've always dug it. I've always liked the art. I've always liked the figures and the look and everything. But now it's I'm really starting to get into it. And Tyler's just every time he's like, it makes me so happy and proud. And
I say it just like that too. Yeah.
Yeah, no, pretty much.
Can I tell you a little story about the Granamyr figure? As you know, John model. No, Granamyr. Shit. But let me tell you a story about Granamyr. I don't have custom figures that I usually make for myself. I told you I can't afford to do that. But back in the day when I was able to buy Granamyr, I was like, I love this character too much. And I want another for myself so I can make green Granamyr. So way before there was an actual green exclusive version, I was, the first to make a custom, but it was for myself because I wanted that mini comic green version, but I would get a little anal about certain things. So when I did them, as you know, the mini comic Granamyr does not have wings. So I made sure to sculpt away the wings. I also, as you notice, sculpted all the warts all over his tail like in that mini comic. I did some sculpting and aging underneath his eyes too, but this is a custom that I've kept just for myself. I've always wanted it because I always wanted that green Granamyr. I didn't think it ever happened. Of course, there's an official one now, but this one's always staying with me. I had to make that accurate one, the one with no wings and the warted up tail and that more aged, ugly face. And yep, this is the only custom that Joe owns for himself is this one right here while my tablet turned on me. So
I can't believe you have two of them and you didn't even offer to give me one.
Oh shit, that never happened. But especially with, like I said, this I had to have the accurate one from the mini comic. So whenever this came out, I can't even remember how long ago it was. Yep, I was the first to pop and make a green Granamyr.
Now don't get me wrong. I would like to have the red one, but I looked at those prices on eBay and I was like, no, sir, don't like that.
Oh, really? It's that bad? I didn't know that.
It's like $300 or more. I'm like, I can't. No, I'm sorry. Like, yes, it would look cool to have the red one, but I'm like, all right, the PowerCon one is reasonable enough. I'll go with that.
I thought the PowerCon one would have been more since it was an exclusive. I actually did not know that. I really didn't.
Unless somehow I managed to get some bootleg figure.
Tyler,
I'll show them on the show, and yeah, you guys can let me know if I made a poor decision. But I don't think it's fake.
I'm sure it's fine. But what about you, Tyler? Did you have both of them, or you just have the green or red one?
I just wanted the red one. My affinity for the character is all about the red Granamyr. I mean, if I came across one that was like relatively cheap in person, yes. But it's when they did those first year PowerCon exclusives like Red Beastman, CamoCon was the only one that I really wanted. I never did get around to getting him, but I just couldn't really justify shelling out another $60 or $70 for just a color variation. I just can't do that. It does look.
They did at least give him the. They gave him the buzz off type claws, though, right? Just like he should be. That CamoCon, if I'm not mistaken, or what?
Yeah. CamoCon was done right, and I would have liked to have had that honestly, but I think when they were, I can't remember I think the whole, whatever it was either like the whole process of trying to get one of those or money was lacking for whatever reason. So I never did get the CamoCon one. But Granamyr, I thought it was a fun nod and more of a justifiable one, more than the Red Beastman, which I just felt like, I don't know, I found that to be the laziest of the three, even though he's colored like that in He-Man and the Power Sword. But Green Granamyr is still cool too, and I was thrilled to death that Nathan really wanted to get one. So I was very happy that he's added Granamyr to his collection, and it's slowly, gradually building a little bit more and more.
It's tough with those eBay prices. Like there was a Triclops that I was looking at. It's like $85, and that's the cheapest one, and it's loose too. Like everything else is over $100. I'm like, ugh, I got into this way too late. This sucks. But
more and more people are getting into it, like you said, late, and they didn't know about it. And yeah, I think maybe that's one of the reasons the prices are just climbing and climbing, is more and more people who just weren't around 10 years ago, however long it's been that this line's been out, they're just now discovering, oh, wow, there was a new He-Man line, and they're trying to find them. And
that's the dumb thing, too, because I would go and see Tyler's collection, like, constantly. He'd be like, yeah, I got these new figures. And I'd be like, yeah, that's cool. But it's just, like, money thing at the time, too, and just not really wanting at the time to dedicate the space to it. And
and now that you're taking baths and money, you can go ahead and buy whatever you want, because Nathan's just rolling in the dough. He can buy anything he wants.
Yep. Check your mail, Joe. You're gonna have some stuff coming in this week.
And I really hope that's a lie, but go ahead.
But no, not only am I adding Granamyr to my collection, but Tyler has been awesome enough. I'm going to be getting Lizard Man and Fang Man in the mail at some point too. So
yeah,
the collection grows. And maybe I should kind of like, even though it's like, yeah, I already got that or whatever, maybe I should start when I get new figures to add to the collection, show them off on the show or something. I don't know. Would anyone be interested in that? If you are, let us know in the comments down below or in the chat.
Now, people love toy talk on this podcast.
I mean, that's what I like, because I haven't, sat down and just watched every episode of Filmation. And to me, it's like the live action movie, and I was like, yeah, the classics. Honestly, I prefer them over the vintage. I think I've said that before. And just the art. The mini comics are fun to read. I'm glad that you guys encouraged me to get the book and to start sitting in on these reviews with you.
No, and it's good having you on to do that, because
Joe, what are you doing over there? You just...
I keep adjusting. You know what? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm starting to get worked up again. My cord that's attaching the tablet to my computer. Yeah, it's not super long. It's like a little short, and it needs to be a little stretched out a little bit more and longer. But what it's doing is it keeps slowly pulling the tablet to turn that way. So I'm just going to unhook it. I think I got enough juice in this tablet. So there, I'm going to unhook it, turn it, and then now this thing should stop doing its ghost movement, I think. All right, okay. There you go. Sorry about that. That's another ramble from Joe. Yeah. So how you doing, Tyler? If you were to see Granamyr remade, like let's say that they brought back, they made a new cartoon, because obviously we ain't getting it from MYP, since that went away, and that's something that people would have loved to see return. But if they brought back a new He-Man cartoon, and if Granamyr would show up, what would you like his design to be like? Pretty much almost like it was, but just, juiced up a little, a complete change? Or because I loved his original.
Yeah, and I think for the most part, a lot of these characters, they don't need to be changed. It's really, it's not just an issue of, oh, you're just stuck on the old stuff. Like, no, these characters resonated with us for a reason. Obviously the Four Horsemen can tweak a few things and add this and change this up a little bit, embellish that. They'd be the only people on this planet I would entrust to redesign or add anything to any of the He-Man mythology. But essentially, Granamyr himself, I just feel like he doesn't need to be tweaked or anything like that. A dragon with a helmet and small wings that resides, in a very large treasure chamber underneath it, and it takes a whole hell of a lot of strength to actually get in there to talk to him, if he will even acknowledge your presence. Like, I feel like there's just nothing to change there, but just giving him more. His dialogue is all, to me, it's so like written so well. It's like Frank Langella's dialogue in the live action movie. Like, it's not just your basic, wizard like statements. Like, this guy has a personality, a perception on the world around him. And he doesn't mind letting you know what I think of you and everyone else that's not a dragon. Like, that gives you a lot more in-depth details of what this guy that doesn't get any visitors anymore. So I feel like it'd be foolish to change with his visual design, because it's such it's an original design anyway. A dragon
is unique. Helmet. Yeah, exactly. Everything you said about that, not only the helmet, not only the small wings, but his head. As you know, with parts of dragons, they always get that super long neck. They have a very distinct look and a snout how it comes. Granamyr has none of that. So he stands out with such a unique design that, to where I've seen some actually say, it looks like he has a beer gut. Like, no, he doesn't. He has the same kind of design as a dragon, except
that's the thing. Like, just even the way he sits too, because you think of most dragons, they're always walking like this, or they're sort of just sitting up almost like a dog or something. But for him to just sort of be like sitting there, it's
like a person.
Yes, but it also adds to his character of like, I am better than everybody. It's just that laid back, like, I know I'm the best. It'd be like if Tyler was a dragon, essentially.
Excellent. Because if Joe and Nathan decide to have someone else on this podcast, like, I didn't invite you on this podcast. Well, I just want to come on and tell you how big your muscles were. Poor excuse for bad manners. I really could play up the whole Granamyr aspect,
I am done talking.
Yeah. Or like, whereas Nathan hates people, like, I could be the He-Man to his Granamyr, where like he doesn't want to talk to anybody else except me, because he knows he can trust me. because I'm trustworthy, and I'm the closest looking to He-Man anyway. So,
dear God, this is Delvis. You should have drew it different, like we said.
Man,
but well,
I'm glad that the bathroom is right there, man. I might have to go throw up after that.
all right. Well, is there any other final thoughts on Granamyr before we get into a discussion on Danger at Castle Grayskull?
Badass character, probably, honestly, one of my favorites, easily. I like the demeanor of the character. I like what he brings to the story, and I like just how badass he is. He can destroy you with hardly doing much of anything, and that's real power. I like him.
All right, Tyler.
I would definitely say by far the best. I mean, of all the characters that Filmation has just created, I mean, we talk about heavily in the Shakodian Mask, even Orko, Granamyr. Kind of, I mean, I would dare say is probably bigger than Shakoti. I mean, because I hold Dragon's Gift up, it's right there neck and neck with the Evilness Plot for like top episode. I mean, that's the writing of that episode by Larry DiTillio. It just sticks out so much more higher. That's why I get so pissed off and defended when people want to slam the old cartoon, because they clearly haven't watched episodes like the Dragon's Gift. Like, it's for an episode that's not Skeletor heavy, that's not strictly like, He-Man fighting the forces of evil to save Castle Grayskull. This is, saving a man's life, but also dealing with someone who's, almost like, you can almost say like a racist. Almost like just assumes all humans are worthless, egotistical, ugly, and all out for themselves. Why the hell should I help you? And he's got some of the best dialogue, and He-Man too. Like, to me, this is probably one of He-Man's, if not his most finest episode in terms of how he is written. When they come back, they realize they can't kill Skytree. And He-Man defiantly says, we don't have it. Skytree, in fact, any tree has as much right to life as you or me or Man-at-Arms, and we won't take a life to save a life. And Granamyr just sneers at that, like he's just, and then when he says, you have every right to send us to the realm of demons now. And it's just like Granamyr doesn't know how to react to this, because what you're serious about. This is how you really think you're a human? And it says, I accept your gift because of your attitude towards this whole situation. You're like, it's a complete 180, but it's done just because, he's been blinded so much by how humans are. And that's just,
I wouldn't say that he's been blinded by it. He's just been burned by it so much that he just gave up.
Well, yeah, I mean, I see that both ways. I mean, he sees only that because he has been burned. So yeah, I just feel like it really hammers home He-Man's personality, and by far probably the most well-written original character in the Filmation cartoon is Granamyr, because of how much of a pompous ass he is in it. And you cling to every word John Irwin says as Granamyr. I mean, it's just, plus his whole setup anyway. This treasure chamber is a story in itself too. Like, you kind of feel like, are these gifts people brought to Granamyr? Are these his personal belongings? Like, it's just something that's never really explored, but it's in every episode that he's in. And it just kind of makes like that's adds extra level of mystery to that character. And how deep Dark Smoke is, if he's down in the bottom of it, resting. What does he do for food? Does he eat at all? Can he eat every 1,000 years? Just, there's so many unanswered questions about the character. People give me the pen, I'll give them a story they won't believe.
I do like how I can't remember, because I watched the episodes that you suggested, Tyler, and I like when He-Man takes the vehicle and he's like, all right, when it's going down, and he knows that he's got to like crash it in there because he knows it's going to make Granamyr mad and come out and be ready to fight. Yeah. I like that a lot. I can relate to that. I'm like, wow, you just messed up something of mine. I'm really pissed off. Who did that?
Yeah.
He-Man's like, I ain't do it. That was right over there. That was shadowing. I didn't do nothing.
It's like in Dumb and Dumber when Jim Carrey's like,
pointing right there.
Yeah.
Seabass, yeah.
Yeah.
But this see, in these, it's those kind of episodes that, for those who did think that Filmation and the He-Man cartoon, She-Ra cartoon is all camp, it's like, again, go back and watch and really see what the cartoon's about, because there's absolutely no silliness. I mean, the thought of, like, if Granamyr was to be brought back in any style of a new cartoon that might be out, and given that kind of silly treatment to a character that was so serious, that would just, God, talk about a slap in the face. I mean, it's already a slap in the face to a lot of the characters, but God, could you imagine Granamyr getting the goofball treatment? It's like, no, the cartoon, it's not as silly as people would like to believe. It's like, again, some people say that we're looking through it with, like, nostalgia goggles. It's like, not really. Again, you guys might.
No, not at all. And that just.
It's like, it's not nostalgia goggles. It's really written well, and it has good dialogue and a good story. It's like, go back. And again, I always said, the stuff you like, great. If you hate, but it's no sense of always just pissing all over back and forth on each other. But just had to say it. Great episode, great character. You got to love Granamyr. And, of course, within the mini comic Dragon's Gift 2, it's a great mini comic. So you got to see it.
Well, yeah, I mean, all the you think about that episode, as Tyler said before, the position that He-Man is put in to, like, in order to save Man-at-Arms, he's got to go and cut this down and essentially kill this tree. I don't know. Yeah, it's just there's a lot more to it than people think. But
that's exactly. It's like you said. I mean, even trees. I mean, like I said, it's all life, as we seen in the great 14 to 16 minute movie Treevenge. I mean, you see what happens when you piss off trees. If you guys don't know what we're talking about, there's a short film that's out. It's a Christmas movie. It's fun for the whole family. You can check it out.
Yeah, Joe, fun for the whole family.
Fun for the whole family. It's a great horror Christmas movie called Treevenge. Just a fun little independent 16-minute short of just deliciousness. So make sure you guys try to check that out too sometime. I think you'd enjoy it. And then you can give your feedback and say, Joe, I liked it, or Joe, you're insane. But I like Treevenge.
One of Joe's new Christmas traditions now. As
it is. I watch it every year now. So, well, now we're going to move on from that, and we're going to go to the record book, one of the stories, Danger at Castle Grayskull. So, Nathan, since it would be your first time, I think, obviously experiencing this story, thoughts?
Well, what's the background on this that you were saying again? That it's this isn't traditional mini comic. This is something else entirely?
Well, this wasn't. No, it's in the mini comic collection book, but no, this isn't a mini comic. This was the record storybook that came with Point Dread and Talon Fighter, which had its two stories: PowerPoint Dread and Danger at Castle Grayskull. Two cool stories, and if you had the record book, the record that came with it, it was your way of experiencing and listening to He-Man. If you didn't see the cartoon, this was kind of your.
Well, like when you're listening to that record, is it actually using the voice talent from the show?
No.
So we're just getting like really just bootleggy voices.
Well, this is what you had before the cartoon. You had these audio storybooks, record books. And...
All right, so this is before the animated show, then.
Yes.
Or is it okay? All right. I'm trying to like put it in perspective because I'm like, if this came out after the fact, why did they?
Well, kind of around the same time. This came out in '83. The show came out in '83 also.
Okay.
Yeah, you can always, again, put it very close, but it's like you could definitely tell by looking at this. This was all written and voiced before the cartoon was done, even though, like you said, they could probably all have been closely worked at the same time. This is not the whole Prince Adam / He-Man thing. This is just He-Man. Zoar the Fighting Falcon, is separate from the Sorceress. So, and the mustache-less Man-at-Arms. So, yeah.
Well, I gotta throw out all these questions for all the newbies out there listening to kind of put it in a timeline perspective. But no, like this is I like how they rope you in with the cover of like, oh, they're fighting, what's going on, and then we get into it and they're like, no, we're just testing out some stuff. I always love how comics would do that. Like they would either leave it on a cliffhanger or you would look at the cover of a book and just be like, what's going to happen in here? But it's a little bit of misdirection. It's like, oh, it's not as bad as it looks. We're just kidding around. But what's the experience for you guys? Like Joe, I imagine you still own
I still have that record book. Okay. Oh God, yeah, here comes the old man Joe story. I love these record books anyways. I would just, especially when you just didn't have to just read it, you can hear it and experience. Now this one wasn't, per se, like, and turn the page, or I think it might have been a turn the page one, just like some of the others. It's been a while since I listened to the record, but I just know that I love hearing the music. The sounds that they do, like when Man-at-Arms and He-Man are doing that fighting, but it ain't real fighting, hearing the clanging of the weapons and those voices, it was cool to hear because you're seeing your characters you love come to life. You know, it might not be animated, but you're hearing the voices. I also remember, if distinctively, I thought when Zoar would speak, and I don't know if when Zoar was speaking, if it was supposed to be a voice message from the sorceress or Zoar speaking, because when the voice came, it reminded me of, like, you know, it's just this raspy kind of freaky voice that then when I seen the cartoon, you can almost compare to Queen Elmora, how her voice was kind of gravelly. That's the voice that you got from Zoar. And I know, obviously, Nathan, you never heard that. And Tyler, I think he said he never experienced the record, but I think you did watch it on YouTube later. So did you remember the voice at all? Yeah.
No.
Oh, so you didn't even remember the voice? Okay. Yeah,
it was kind of any impression on me.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
I was going to say, with those record stories, I do remember, well, not Master of the Universe, but I do remember other properties and listening to those. And I also remember when they kind of switched over to cassettes and having some of the Batman ones and Justice League ones. And those were always cool to, I miss that. I'm surprised they don't. Maybe they still do that in some form or fashion with properties today.
Oh, it's possible. And I could see Tyler's side, because I know Tyler, of course, experiencing and hearing the Filmation voices, loving it, knowing that's He-Man's voice to him, Skeletor, any of the others, and then listening to these things that were like before and with their voices, I could understand he would be like, this just doesn't sound right.
Well,
For me, it was just exciting.
As a kid, I would have been more accepting of it, but as an adult,
I
see it as like it was just filling the hole, and that's all I see it as. Nothing like those Lady Bird lame or half-assed recordings that Joe's made me sit through.
The guy, just somebody sitting there reading a book and then changing his voice to It was like, where's a different type of voice? Those were kind of a little bit painful. But hell, maybe there was people that when they heard those were doing backflips. I don't know. Maybe they were loving it.
No, I don't think so, Joe. But
he's like, probably not, Joe. I'm not sure. I was like, okay, I'm time to poll the UK fans.
Hey, they had Filmations, He-Man, in the UK. You gonna sit there and tell me that they preferred this guy, puffing on cigarettes?
Not prefer. Just you never know what somebody might have experienced first. That's all I meant. I didn't know if they might have. This person could have experienced the Lady Birds before the cartoon. Some people, hell, I know a lot of people that only enjoyed the comics. Some of the countries, I think they said they even had the comics or mini comics, and I mean some of the later ones that you could say even were around the time of Filmation. They seen those and didn't even get to see the cartoon till years later or through weird ways of renting. So everybody's got their different experience.
I love how Joe kind of says it like in a very mocking manner, like everyone's got their own experience, Joe.
No, but everybody does have the different way they experience something. So you just, you never know. Just depends on the part of the world and age. But I'll pass it to Tyler. Is anybody else getting it? It seems like Tyler just seems kind of sad today or something. Tyler seems depressed. I hope he didn't get kicked in the nuts or something bad today. I don't want to ask. I don't like doing the personal, but something seems kind of. He feels like the grumpy Granamyr.
I do feel like a bit of a grump here today.
Yeah, you do. You sound like it. I can hear it in your voice. Tyler's just like, it's like, yeah, okay. All right, is the podcast over, guys? All right, see you next time. No quote this time.
I do have to make sure I get a quote down. I always have like quotes during the week. I'll use it on the podcast. Then when it comes down to it, I had like 4 or 5 quotes and I don't remember a single one of them.
So much dead air on this episode. Jesus.
I know. God, man. Right before Christmas, too.
Well, we'll get down to the bottom of why Tyler's being kind of sad. But let's go ahead and jump into the story. It's basically Man-at-Arms is he's working on some stuff. And he's like, hey, let's go ahead and take the attack track?
Yeah.
Which yes.
Man, so it's I feel like I'm already fumbling through this because you guys like know this probably. You probably don't even have to look at it. You probably just visualize it in your head.
I like PowerPoint Dread better than Danger at Castle Grayskull, though. Even though Triclops is in it, I just like the Point Dread story a little bit more.
What a voice from Triclops in this one. Oof, that is interesting. Such a very it's almost like a robotic voice. Do you remember it at all, Tyler, or no?
No. I think I just listened to it one time and that was it.
Yeah, I mean, I always, as a kid, I just enjoyed the piss out of it and everything, and Skeletors. But I just remembered a lot of the characters. They had this voice to where it almost sounded like they were speaking to like a tin cup. It was just weird. But yeah, the whole thing was Zoar, which also, man, there's some people that get real touchy when it comes to the name of Zoar because from Filmation, we clearly hear Zoar, but when it comes to the audio ones and a lot of these, you hear Zor like a roar. So. Man, I've actually seen that in groups where sometimes people were like getting pissy back and forth about the pronunciation. I was like, Jesus, I didn't mean to bring it up. Because I brought up one time when I heard somebody saying Zor, and I was like, are you like it like the roar, or are you like Zor? And like, no, Zor. And then boom, it exploded. More little perks to Joe being in a lot of different groups. I see a lot of crazy things.
Was this one of those discussions where you like instigate the, like, what do you guys prefer, Zoar or Zor? And then,
yep, I do. Joe goes in with this little, what I call Masters of the Universe bomb. I just set it there and just see if it's going to explode. I just want to see when everybody's touching it, and then boom, it blows up, and then everybody loses it. And who that whale? Thank you for joining us. And go ahead.
Oh, well, Delvis is saying, Tyler, Beefcake isn't really dead. He was just kidding. He didn't mean to bum you out by that. Maybe that's what it is. But
I was going to say, Nathan was the one that got pissed off about that, not me.
Well, Beefcake sucks. Anyway. So, Man-at-Arms and He-Man decide they're going to take the Talon Fighter, which leaves her with the attack track, and that's basically what sort of sets up this whole trap that Skeletor's had, because she runs into Manny Faces, and he's kind of being controlled, and he turns into his beast self and starts to go after her, and that's when Skeletor comes out and unveils his plan. Joe, are you laughing?
No, I'm laughing because I'm thinking of that roar, this roar that Manny Faces.
Oh, yeah, you're going back and thinking about like the audio that you. Yeah. I'm gonna have to check those out just to see how I feel about them.
I used to love, like I said, I'd play the piss out of it when I was a kid over and over, like at nighttime, and then have the flashlight on the book, just like you see in movies. But I just loved hearing that. But now that I think about some of the things, oh, what a voice for Manny Faces when he did his kind of roar, in which you didn't really see the beast. You heard that, the beast came out, but you still didn't see the beast face. You're just usually seeing the regular face. I also like how Skeletor, basically predicting. He's like, yeah, I knew that they'd have Teela be left behind. I was like, what is this? I mean, it was kind of strange, the implication that, it's always going to be He-Man and Man-at-Arms that take, the real good vehicles and leave Teela to lag behind. It's like, it just sounded strange to me, but I guess worked into his plot of capturing her.
Well, they want to take the attack track, but it kind of pulls a Batmobile and smoke comes out and Skeletor's just like, all right, we'll just leave it there. Which I thought was kind of
smoke screen.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was just kind of funny, like how quick he was to just give up on that. But yeah, we reach it to where Skeletor's talking to Triclops, and I guess I'm just gonna have to listen to this and hear that voice because you said it's pretty bad. Just very robotic. Yeah,
and I think JSP in the chat room did say if you want, you could find this on YouTube.
Yeah, he said they're on YouTube. Yeah, so I'll when we're done with the show, I'll look it up and listen to it and kind of follow along and just probably laugh at it. I feel like I'm going to.
I'm thinking, no, you probably will. I'm sure you will.
But
go ahead.
To be fair, granted, the animated series had not premiered or taken off yet, so they didn't really have much to go off of other than the words here on the page. So you can't. And
plus, you're getting to look at this beautiful art again. For those who just love Alcala's art, I mean, you are just getting some beautiful. I mean, every panel could be its own little piece of just beautiful art to frame. And remember, since this is bigger and not so small in a mini comic, since the bigger book, you can see the details more, and obviously a little more freedom to do stuff and not just have some things in the background be quick little drawings. I'm not saying nothing like that doesn't exist in this book as well, but very big pictures, clean, clear, and just more beautiful stuff of Alcala. And especially if you want PowerPoint Dread, you can finally see Zodak, drawn in Alcala's form. Since we didn't get him in a mini comic, it's like, that's a plus. But go ahead, Nathan or Tyler or somebody. Poor Nathan. Tyler, oh man, I feel so bad for Tyler. He is. I really don't want to ask because I'm not going to.
I'm kind of having trouble finding stuff to say about this story, though. Like,
why is that? That's kind of amazing for me, really.
I just, like I said, I just don't have a whole lot to say in general about it. I really
can tell
don't.
this is.
I just don't. It's.
Well, let's say this: is he more speechless now, or when I gave him the Viper Tower? Because I feel like now he has a lot less to say.
He looks depressed. He looks out of it today. He really does.
You had a bad pick. We'll blame it on Joe.
Oh God, no, it ain't a bad pick. I've never heard anybody say, "Oh, Danger Castle Grayskull, I don't like her. It sucks." Or Joe, you're a dipshit for picking it. I've never experienced that. Everybody that's ever that I've known has always liked the. I'm not saying Tyler's saying it sucks completely, but
Well, yeah,
yes,
you are. Yes, you are saying that. I said I don't have much to say on it. Like it doesn't resonate with me.
All right, we'll keep going here. So basically, Skeletor is taking control of Tila, finds a way to be like, hey, you go up, you tell them to open up Grayskull. So they infiltrate it, and you guys might have to explain this to me just a tad. And I know this is before the animated show, but Skeletor makes it a point to say, remove your super suit. So obviously this is established, like the sword
in the mini comics. Yeah,
the sword, there wasn't really like it's just him just having the strength. It has nothing to do with this. There does.
He had two different vests. Yeah, I mean, in the original, the first 4 mini comics, you see his power and his force field vest. So he had 2 different type of vests. One that's like kind of a protector, and one that would like increase his strength. So they obviously, since this is early stuff too, and at least kind of on lines of the story, they want to mention the vest being his power harness. Yeah.
All right. So they're basically locked up in a cell, and Trapjaw has been assigned to watch over them, and he's sitting here kind of like, Joe's already said shit on this show. I've been good about my language on this one, but Joe's kind of throwing it out the window a little bit.
Sorry, I apologize.
So, Trapjaw's just kind of giving him shit. It's like, you're in there. So He-Man throws water on him. He's like, what'd you do that for? I'm just going to stay here and hang out. And basically what that does is Trapjaw gets rusty. And that gives him up. Yeah, it gives him
jaw, Russ's arms, yeah.
And then meanwhile, Skeletor is trying to figure everything out, and Triclops, Beastman, and Merman are just kind of bumbling around and ruining everything. And Triclops, what's this lever? And he falls through the floor, and Skeletor is probably just holding his head like Joe does when he gets frustrated. And which honestly, this ends up once they get the keys from Trapjaw. I think my favorite part of the whole thing is just this part right here. Like just the shadow. It reminds me of something like out of Kill Bill, when the bride's about to fight him and it goes blue and everything. That's what that really reminded me of. So I like that part a lot. And then they're just kicking ass. They're just beating him up, and then Skeletor just he really gets it. Like he starts getting attacked by everything. He's outside the castle now, and then the vehicles do have a mind of their own, like Man at Arms had alluded to earlier, and they start just like throwing all their stuff at him, and they have to scurry off and run away.
Yeah, Tactrack did have his little mind of his own to get him to get the hell out of there at the end. But no, it's a good story. If nobody's ever read it, you can obviously get that gigantic mini comic collection book to read it, or check it right on YouTube so you can at least look and listen to the insane different type of audio that some people got the experience back then. And you might think, God, this is bad voicing, but you might enjoy it. And hell, for those who do remember, at least you can have a little, memories brought back by it, because I'm sure there's not many people that still have a record player to pop up, put in the old record, and turn it on. It's not usually going to happen. So
record players are coming back, man. Vinyls are everywhere now. Barnes & Noble, Target, Walmart. So I'm sure someone could get a record player and obtain one of these and throw them on.
Sure. I've seen the record player / CD player / tape player. It's like a gigantic combo thing that they sell at places. So we need to get that, and they need to get some retro VCRs out there at a cheap price so I can get back popping in some of my tapes I haven't seen in years. But
that's what we can do. You can go to Goodwill and find a copy of Roadhouse and watch it. And then we can we'll talk about it.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the only way to do it. But we'll see if anybody has anything that they want to ask in the chat room before we wrap it up. And I don't even know if you guys have anything that you're going to want to ask, because I might answer it. Nathan might. I don't know about Tyler, because I think Tyler is about ready.
Tyler's about tapped out. But I do want to throw out, if they redo He-Man and Granamyr's in it, obviously we know who's got to voice Granamyr, right? Obviously. I'll leave it at that. Take it away, Joe.
There you go. All right. Well, again, if anybody does have anything you want to ask us right now in the chat room, whether it's coming to mini comics, cartoons, the movie, the toys, whatever, do it right now while I pass it to Tyler to see if maybe he has anything in closing. Not quite sure if it's going to happen this week, but Tyler?
I don't know why Joe is so frustrated that I'm not as fixated on the story though.
No, not frustrated. The whole episode, even from the beginning, you've seemed quiet. So I'm hoping everything's okay. But go ahead.
No, I just I guess just because it's hard for me to get excited over the little figurines and stuff like that. I just don't have as much to say on that kind of stuff. Period. I know Joe has his reasons for doing it. I just don't have anything to bring to the table on that stuff. And then with this story, I just don't get as excited about it as I do like some of the other mini comics though. And it's not because of I didn't grow up with it, because a lot of these things I didn't get to experience till I got older anyway. I like the scenery. I just don't enjoy the story as much. It's not a bad story. It's not like Obelisk, or the Leech mini comic or anything like that. I just don't have as much to say on it because of it's a simple story, but I just don't have as much excitement for it, so to speak. Yeah.
All right. Well, now I'm going to pass it to the chat room. Fedmon wanted to say something. Fedmon said the purple Zodak armor is an homage to the first Master of the Universe Classics weapons pack, which had that. Oh, I couldn't even remember the Classics weapons pack. I just know the vintage, the originals, where it was the black Zodak armor.
Yeah,
so
I was going to say that's actually definitely not an homage, the wrong color.
Yeah, I was going to say, if it's, they did something for the Classics version. I honestly don't remember, but thank you for saying that. So I guess now we kind of know that. Let me see. Adam Gabbard said, Joe, Tyler, Nathan, how come Queen Marlena was never made into a vintage figure for the 80s, but we got her one in Classics? Well, I know that they were a little skittish at times of probably thinking, oh, will a female figure sell? Which we bought every one of them, loved them. But I think since we got King Randor towards the end of the line and you wondered, well, Queen Marlena, I think she was maybe in the works or thoughts of being made, but the line, unfortunately, was canceled, so we didn't get her. But I'm sure, hell, if they would have made a Queen Marlena, I would have bought a Queen Marlena. I bought every damn figure. I didn't have an issue with her being a female. She would have fit in fine with the vintage figures, I think.
I think she would have too, but I just don't think by that point that they were really going to push too many. I mean, we got 3 females throughout the entire line. I think having a royal female character probably, because I feel like what would be her other than I mean, she wouldn't have much of an action feature probably.
No.
And neither did Tila, but I kind of feel like Tila's a warrior, Evelyn's a warrior, the sorceress is the sorceress, the queen is just, the queen. And you kind of feel like
just nice to display with King Randor, I guess.
Pretty much, or just use her as like somebody that Skeletor captures, and when you're playing around, you have to pretend like you're going to go rescue or something like that.
Hell, like even thinking of the classic figures, she's got the 2 ways you can display her, but when she's in her, gown, it's like you can't pose her or do nothing. It's basically just stand there right next to King Randor. It's like she's a cool display piece. Yeah, just like a lot of the figures. Some people don't they're cool to display, but maybe not to play. Yeah, there you go. Cool to display, but not to play. All right, I like that. Okay, let me see.
I could see that being a case too of just knowing you want to prioritize a lot of characters over some of the other ones, even if they do have more appearances in the show, and then by the time you get around to it, it's too late. Like you said, it was probably in the works and everything, but it just the timing of it didn't work out, I guess.
I would have thought though, would there have been evidence, because we got the Errol McCarthy artwork of characters that were coming down the pipeline for the next wave. But was anything shown up for a Queen Marlena figure? We'd gotten Hot Shot / Plasmar, Lord Grasp, Terror, Slamurai, and the Horde Troopers and the with the snakeheads. But really hadn't seen anything evidenced. What?
I'm looking at the chat. I'm not laughing at you.
Oh.
I'm laughing at the stuff the chat's saying.
Okay,
sorry.
About me or Joe?
No. All right. If you really want to know,
why not?
It said most of the Golden Girls look a lot like Skeletor by now too. Crossover potential. I'm just like,
oh God, I didn't need to know that.
See, I thought it was funny.
Fedmon did want to bring up something as well. Fedmon said also the smaller Ladybird books had multiple voice actors. the big 6 storybooks was the only one with one voice actor. He said the audio is on YouTube if you ever want to listen to them. So thank you for that, Fedman. I mean, I've read all those individual books, but I've never heard those little individual ones voiced out. It was, yeah, you're right, just the big one that we did that one time.
Twice.
that was a doozy.
Twice.
Yeah, that was a doozy. But all right, but yeah, I think that's it. So well, again, I want to thank
who that well asked if we're ready for Christmas. Are you guys ready for Christmas?
Oh, did he say that? Oh, sure. And I did want to say it to anybody out there that celebrates Christmas. Hope you have a Merry Christmas. Anybody that celebrates Kwanzaa, hope you have a Happy Kwanzaa as well, because we have both these coming up. 25th for Christmas, 26th starts Kwanzaa. So for everybody out there that celebrates the holidays, any of those holidays, I hope you have a merry one, a happy one. And if you don't celebrate them, I just hope you are happy in general or have a good day. But yeah, go ahead.
I was looking for Zentron's quote.
I didn't see Zentron's movie quote. You're going to have to throw it up there, Zentron. I must have missed it because I know there's been a lot of BAM. It's been going quick. I have not been able to keep up with it because I've been trying to look back and forth and holding my microphone so it doesn't rub myself or something. So, yeah, I missed your quote. We're going to have to see that quote again. So, but let me at least say some of the closings in case he puts that up there. I'll say the closings right now. Anybody new to the chat room, go ahead and make sure you like, subscribe, ring that bell, because when you ring the bell, you're always notified when we have new content. So you can always, catch us when we're going live. And, of course, as I always say to everybody in the chat room, it's always great. I'm glad you're here. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope to have you here next week. And I didn't catch your quote there, Zentron, so I'm sorry. So until next time, have a powerful day.
Are you mocking me with that outfit?
I love some Cousin Vinny. That's what the judge said to Vinny. Yeah, I love that damn movie. So, see you guys next time.
All right.